What was it like to sit and interview Mac Miller? And what was he like as a person?
Mac's my guy, man.
First of all, you know what I'm saying, Mac was the first person in the industry to show us love like that, you know what I'm saying, before anybody was rocking with us.
To the people. How you doing? You guys take care of my son.
What's up, YouTube? It's KayHon, aka KayHon puts you on, and today we got a very special video, okay? And as always, if you like the content, hit me with a like and subscribe. I just make music and art content, so if you like that, just talking about it, vibing, whatever, hit me with a like and subscribe, and comment what you think about the video and the topic. In this video, today I want to discuss basically my overall thoughts and my questions that I had regarding why Mac Miller was so loved in hip-hop. Okay, and you're gonna be like, well, that's like very obvious, like he just made good music. But I don't think that's all that it takes, especially as a white artist, to be accepted and loved in hip hop. I mean, when he passed away, there were so many people.
To this day, I don't understand how I can't call my nigga no more. Like,
what the deal? It's Kendrick Lamar tapping in, remembering the life, celebrating the life of the homie Mac Miller.
That I talked about it, and rest in peace Mac Miller, but everybody, it was a sad day. Like, hip-hop felt like it took a break for a moment, which it never does that. And I feel like there's only a few people that could happen for, and especially being white, I can only think of Eminem and Mac Miller. I think those are two people where that would happen. Maybe The Alchemist. That, like, there are definitely some white rappers or white artists in hip-hop that would do that. But it seems like there was an undeniable greatness and acceptance of Mac Miller, which is just so interesting to me. So I took a deep dive, and I found a few factors on exactly why he was so loved and why I think he was so loved and why I loved him. And I think they all kind of relate, at least in the reasons that I think that he was so loved. Because as you may know, Mac Miller has dropped 6 studio albums, 2 live albums, 63 music videos, 2 EPs, and he has multiple aliases where he produces like Larry Fisherman. He has like a jazz alias, and he's done so much in hip-hop in the short time that he lived. It's just actually amazing, and he has amazing albums. He's Grammy nominated for Swimming, I believe. Circles was amazing. Faces is great. Divine Feminine. The Waiting Room, I think, is the other one. But he just has so many good albums. None of them really have missed, and that's just his solo thing. Now, as we know, Mac Miller has produced hundreds of songs. Like, he has done so much production, made so much good music for other people. And that's the first thing that I want to talk about is collaboration. Mac Miller did not shy away from working with artists that he liked. Kendrick Lamar is one of those people. Vince Staples is one of those people. Schoolboy Q is one of those people. JID. I guarantee you, like, a good amount of people didn't know that he worked with JID, produced for JID. Earth Gang. He worked with Earth Gang very early on.
Question. One of my favorite songs is Monday featuring Mac Miller. What does that song mean to you right now, and after Mac has passed, unfortunately, as well? What are some of your favorite memories from touring with him?
First of all, you know what I'm saying, Mac was the first person in the industry to show us love like that, you know what I'm saying, before anybody was rocking with us. Like, he extended his artistry, he extended his home to us, you know what I'm saying. He let us record. He was like, bro, I'm gonna give y'all a verse free of charge, nothing is nothing. I rock with y'all family. So, you know what I'm saying, it was just a good introduction to being in the industry and to knowing who gonna rock with you like family. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that's just for business or just for clout, and there's other people in there that rock with you like family. So it was a blessing to be able to be in his presence and to work with him and create music with him. So we super thankful, super grateful. And he was just hilarious, you know what I'm saying? It was always a good time, always jokes and stuff. So we appreciate him continue to extend his family out to us, and we love you, Mac.
When you hear people talk about Mac Miller, the thing that I think a lot of people hear is that he just loved music. That was Mac Miller. Mac Miller was someone who ingested and output music. Like, that's just all he did. And he was just so well-versed. He produced for so many people and somewhat of an ear and enjoyed making music to an extent, and that's really all Mac needed. And I think people like that are rare, where it feels like their egos aren't their leading factor. Like, in order to make music at the level that I feel like Mac Miller did, you have to be very egoless. You you have to like be critical about what you do, but not put your ego in front of that and like make that a motivation. And I think that was very apparent because he has projects like Faces where he talks about depression, suicidal thoughts, being sad on his birthday. He has albums like Swimming where he's like coming to terms with that depression. He has songs like that are on Circles, where he kind of realizes that this is just the ups and downs of it. So I think the great thing about Mac Miller is that he wasn't afraid to collaborate. Mac Miller was always down to collaborate with anybody. As long as they made music and he liked it and they were chill, he just made music with them. And that's what everybody kind of talks about, is that he was just kind of like this fun kid, and that's just like, he just had good energy. And I think that's one major part of why Mac Miller was so loved. I think another reason was his authenticity. I think that was a huge one. And I think we see that in rap where a lot of artists don't feel authentic. There's been a huge thing with the rapper Ian. Pitchfork did a whole page long basically about how Ian doesn't feel authentic. I made a video kind of defending Ian a little bit, but also like kind of understanding that I see why they're saying that. There's been other rappers like Lil Mabu. Or G-Eazy. I think these rappers sometimes feel inauthentic. Maybe they are being authentic, but at least to the people that are perceiving it, they don't feel authentic. And one thing about Mac Miller is like, you always knew who he was. Like, I feel like anytime like I watched an interview or listened to his music, you couldn't escape him being who he was. Like on Faces, his kind of like dreamy production, his like monotone sad lyrics, along with this colorful childlike album cover, that had so many layers, so much depth, that if you like picked that apart piece by piece and examined each one, you saw an aspect of kind of like who Mac Miller was. And he wasn't this person just like throwing out slang he wasn't familiar with or playing up an image that he really wasn't. He was a kid from Pittsburgh. That's just who he was. And I think you always kind of felt that. Like, I feel like, at least for me, I always felt that Mac Miller, that's just who he was. And I think especially when you're going into new spaces, I think as people, it's very easy for us to just try to assimilate the best that we can. I have definitely done that. Like, growing up, I moved from very different areas, and you just try to assimilate, and that's just what happens. And I think a lot of rappers, when they get in these spaces with other rappers, they just try to mimic, basically, who they're around. And I think when you're around all these rappers from different parts of the country, X, Y, and Z, you're going to take pieces from that. However, Mac Miller didn't really feel like he did that. It felt like he took whatever was there and put his own spin to it, because that's just who he was. And I think we all got friends like that. Like, no matter where they're at, they're just unapologetically themselves. I have so much respect for that, because I think it's like an uncomfortable thing to do. It's not the easiest thing to do. The easy thing to do is assimilate, which is what I did growing up. Is just to assimilate. And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with assimilating a lot, but I think when you're being perceived by others, when you're making music, when you're like an influencer, you're on the forefront of everything that you do, it becomes very apparent that you're assimilating. And that, I think, can make it feel inauthentic. And I think Mac Miller just didn't do that. He didn't need to, because he was confident of him in himself, at least from what I saw, that he didn't need to fake anything. And I think that was a major reason. I think that's a huge reason, and maybe the biggest, is that he just felt authentic. Like, that's just massive. White rappers have that issue where they just assimilate, or they just go in these pockets that aren't really them. It kind of feels like a Drake scenario, where Drake is switching up his accents and things like that to like fit on a beat. Like, Drake doesn't feel, to me, very authentic, and which is okay, right? Like, he makes good records, he makes good songs, but that's going to make people kind of like push back a little bit when he does these things. Like, when Drake puts on a Jamaican accent, I take a step back. I'm like, maybe this is wrong for a second. But with Mac Miller, I never really did that. Like, it never felt wrong what he was doing. And so I really, really like that. The last point, which I think is just massive, I just think he treated people well. Just overall. And you guys are going to be like, well, obviously he had to if he was liked by a lot of people. But I think there's a lot of people that, like, we like, in music and art, entertainment, it's very, very easy for us to like these people undeniably, no matter what they do. But Mac Miller, the amount of people that after he passed away came out and supported him and like talked about how good of a person he was, how fun he was to be around, like, he was just good, like a good vibe. He was just a good vibe to be around. And I think that's very obvious, especially the people that talk about him are people that, like, keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick, if he don't like you, he gonna tell you to your face on a track. He doesn't like Drake, and he dropped 8 tracks against that man. Someone like Vince Staples, who's very outspoken about whatever. Somebody like Schoolboy Q, who keeps it a stack. You have all these different people. Charlemagne, like, he really doesn't care. And you have all these people telling you, like, oh, this dude was so dope, he was so good, he, like, picked me up from my house in the hood. He always, like, wanted to make music with me, whoop-de-whoop. Like, that in itself is a great trait, a great factor. And not only does the world already perceive you well, but your coworkers do too, or your friends do too. So it's like, all around, he just seemed very, very solid as a person. And I was sitting here, and, like, I think that becomes very obvious when you really sit down and start thinking about, like, everything you've heard about Mac Miller, all the music you've listened to. I think it becomes very obvious. But the thing is like, I think it's kind of beautiful to put all these things together. And when I was just doing this video, I, like, felt a lot of grief, like, a lot of sadness just from, like, dang, he's gone. But at the same time, I'm like, he had a beautiful life. It may have been short, way too short, but from the things that he put out, from the people that cared about him, he did a great job. You know what I'm saying? So, and rest in peace to Mac Miller. The only person that didn't like him is GoldLink, and look at where that nigga's at now. Like, I don't care about GoldLink. I don't care about GoldLink at all. Okay, I'm gonna be on record and say I don't like GoldLink like that off of what he said about Mac Miller. Okay, if you don't know about GoldLink, there's mad videos. I'd go watch what he said about Mac Miller. That was crazy. What GoldLink said about Mac Miller was crazy, bro. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like the content, you'll like and subscribe. I'm going to briefly talk about some new artists that I've been enjoying. Also, before we do that, I want to say thank you to everybody. We hit 800 subscribers on here on YouTube. I want to thank you guys so much. And we're almost at 4K on TikTok, which is insane, just wild. I think we're at Instagram, we're almost at like 2.9, which is crazy. So I want to say thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I love you guys so much. I can't even, I'm just ecstatic. Like, we're just slowly growing. It's beautiful. Not even slowly. We're doing great. We're moving fast. But it's just great, man. It's just great. You know, life is good. Life is good. But some artists I want to talk about today, that you should definitely check out and listen to. Lucky just dropped a couple new tracks. Heavy on My Heart and Courtesy of. Vince Staples' album, I think I already talked about that. Who are some up-and-coming artists? Kai Crusade, I think I talked about that. Rat Bag. So Rat Bag is like punk-ish. I would definitely check out Rat Bag. She makes great music. That band or her, I don't know who it is, like, as a collective. Rat Bag's really good. So I think those are my 2 shout-outs. I don't know if I got anybody else right now. But as always, check them out. I'll put their links in the description below. But as always, I love you guys and appreciate you guys. Peace out. Be smooth.
I heard Diddy was there when Abraham Lincoln got assassinated.
I heard that Diddy trained Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I heard Diddy played for the '92 Lakers.
I heard that Diddy won the 32nd or 34th annual hot dog eating competition.
I heard Diddy framed Nixon.
I heard that Diddy was Nixon.
I heard that Diddy started Ray-Ban.
I heard that Diddy was a World War II photographer.
I heard that Diddy wrote all of Elton John's material.
I heard that Diddy led the anti-Vietnam movement.
Diddy got Prince off drugs.
I heard that Diddy played the violin on the Dalai Lama's first audiobook.
Forrest Gump is loosely based on Diddy's childhood.